When I first got invited to speak on the stage, the first question that actually comes to mind was, what the heck am I gonna be talking about? But moment changes when the question that appears becomes, what leads me here today? Today, I'd like to be sharing with you about my passion discovery and what it means to live with one. And this is a message, actually, for everyone who's currently battling with an impostor syndromes, who was once rejected, who has felt the pain of failure, and who's persistently battling their fight. My journey for passion starts from when I was still in my formative years. It was at the age of self-discovery, of puberty, and trials, when I realized that I was actually perceived as a mediocre by my teacher, my classmates, from often failing tests to having less than average social skills and to having only few friends that accepted me. At this moment, the only thing that comes to mind was, how can I be different? How can I be accepted? And that has become a question for me ever since, because it actually dared me to be someone. I had a chance to start over and find the answer to that question by actually moving to another school when I got into high school. Not knowing anyone before was certainly a great advantage for my quest, because it actually allows me to actually do more trials and errors for my self-discovery. By going through some trials and joys and socializing with new people, and even changing my methods in learning, I learned one important thing. You can always choose to grow if you allow yourself to. And this is the fundamental mindset that drives me to believe that whatever happens, there will always be room for growth. Until I was faced with multi-rejections from schools and even universities that I ever dreamed of post-high school. When you think that rejection only gets better every time, or even failing, it is only like you're being pushed down from the hills when you thought that you're about to reach the top. And in adversity, I thought there are only two things that I was allowed to do. It is to grieve and to give up. Turns out, I was wrong. There are not two things. There are two options. First, it's either you grieve and give up, or you grieve, you acknowledge the failure, and you learn from it. And in this moment, I was actually taught to reevaluate and even relearn my motives of what makes me upset by this failure. My motive was to prove myself that I can be better from what people think of me. But what makes me upset was that I failed to prove it. But then it got me. What if I succeed? Will the pride sustain? Will I get caught in my small bubbles of mind thinking that if I have succeeded, I would have stayed in my comfort zone? Then the next question becomes, what can I do next if I fail? In the present times? In the next 3 to 10 years? Or even for a lifetime? Talking with my closest people, or even your closest people, definitely helps in ensuring these thoughts. I realized that the process of grieving is always needed to assure that accomplishment means something big to you. And finding ways to cope with it, to get to your next action, will determine how persistent you are with your dream. In this moment as well, I learned that adversities will always happen to you. to evaluate, to help you relearn again what your long-term goals are if you succeed. And that question, I never really thought of. Adversities allow you to pivot your path. And the way you pivot it is actually in your hand. To find my long-term goal, I had to explore what I'm really, really passionate about. Because I know, despite more failures and adversities, this long-term goal will keep me going. Or maybe like what Angela Duckworth said, it's something that makes you gritty. But my quest and passion discovery started through volunteering in multi-organizations, internships, and meeting lots and lots of people. More people than what I thought my puberty self would doubt I'd be able to do. It was pushing the limit for me. And in this exploration process, I was actually taught about something that I really enjoyed seeing. It is growth. I actually see the same impact delivered when I had my part-time job as a career advisor during my time at UC Davis. I had a chance to actually meet more than 200 people, or even students, every single quarter who was so confused of their next path post-graduation. Some of them even crying for hours because they got rejected from more than 50 jobs they applied to. And even some were smiling when they told me that they got their first offer letter. And ever since then, seeing people succeed in their life or even career has become my personal snack of joy and reward. I realized that this is something that I wanted to see more of. And this is my passion. Your passion can go from seeing people grow or even sustaining something. Because in my case, my passion is seeing people grow. Seeing me grow, seeing you grow, and seeing them grow. Passion turns out to be more than just a thing that you decide to do. It is the impact that you are keen to make or even find from everything that you do. And this has become a baseline foundation for what I look for in jobs, in products, or even programs that I build. And to start them, you gotta be able to question yourself again when you encounter failure. What is the impact that I'm keen to make in my life? What is my long-term goal? Because that way, failure and adversities become only your friend to find and sustain your passion.